Welcome back to New Rockstars.
Welcome back.
Keep the words right out of your mouth.
Happy New Year.
We did it.
Erik Voss, this is Filup Molina, and welcome back to The Big Question. Filup and I are starting off 2020 with a slice of humble pie.
No one knows what you said.
Humble.
No.
We're going to reflect on our theorizing from 2019 and all the stuff we f***ed up.
Okay, so this episode I have just, I put it very simply, it's the one big question I ask you every year. What did I do to deserve you? Good or bad?
Yes.
No, it's what theories did we get completely wrong,
Fully wrong
this past year?
So this is our performance review, right?
Yeah, exactly.
We're having a performance review with you, the viewer, and this is what we're stuck with now.
We own up to this stuff. We
do.
go out on a limb, but then we call ourselves out on it. Last year, my favorite was to call out Erik for thinking that Cap would eat the Soul Stone and give him Soul Stone powers in Infinity War.
Which now, after Endgame, might be true. We don't know what he did with each of those stones. He might have eaten it. Okay, but let us start with Avengers Endgame. This is the first of the biggest thing that we theorized about. We made like dozens of videos pointing in various different directions. We got a lot right, but we got a lot wrong. The first one I want to point out that we got wrong is that the front door footage from the first Avengers Endgame trailer, remember this? Of Scott Lang being like, hey, is anyone home? It said archive in the upper corner, and man oh man, did our trailer breakdown theorize that was evidence that Scott Lang had traveled through time. This isn't the front door of the facility at this moment. This is an old archive video, and somehow Scott is showing up in it. Now, while time travel did end up being a big part of the plot, that had nothing to do with it. It was not the huge discovery of time travel. Archive was just a random detail that had no effect on the plot.
Which made no sense to be up there, actually. It was not an archive, and what's so weird about it, it's not like they chose to design that frame with having the word archive up there.
Right. For maybe it was being archived in the
Immediately?
process. Immediately,
That's
yeah,
weird.
yeah. Everything's being archived. Okay, so that was wrong.
What's next?
Okay, the next thing we got wrong was the theory that we speculated that Loki did not actually die, or that somehow he faked his death, or that he would be resurrected, or my favorite is that he disguised himself as the Hulk.
Yeah.
And
Loki equals Hulk, I remember that.
this, judging from the issues that Hulk should not have remembered these things, because Hulk is supposed to black out. Like, Banner doesn't remember anything that Hulk sees. So how did he remember all this stuff to tell Doctor Strange about in the beginning of Infinity War? It was just like a weird little plot hole, but Loki's dead. He was resurrected in a sense through time travel, but he did not disguise himself as Hulk. Okay, so the next thing that we got a bit wrong about Endgame is that the ending scene that was deleted from the film of Tony Stark in the Soul Realm meeting his daughter Morgan, I have speculated that the reason that we never saw that is because Tony was really talking to a cosmic entity to negotiate to get back Natasha Romanoff's life, and that she would be resurrected in the post-credit scene of Black Widow. Yes, I am submitting to you the theory that the Black Widow movie will feature the resurrection of Natasha Romanoff. Well, since Disney Plus has come out, we have seen that scene. It was just deleted because people didn't have an emotional connection to Catherine Langford, and that's the reason.
Just such a bummer.
Yeah.
But I did like your theory of that entity was not his daughter, but rather a cosmic entity, which was a separate theory that you had about cosmic entities.
Yes, that's another thing that we should point out, that we had speculated that characters like Kronos and the Living Tribunal would show up in Avengers Endgame, and that maybe even Thanos would team up with the Avengers to take on that bigger threat. Was not the case. However, the writers did reveal that the Living Tribunal was in a deleted scene of Infinity War when Doctor Strange was battling Thanos on Titan, that he was going to take him through this like wizard duel through the multiverse, and that the Living Tribunal would try Thanos for his crimes, but was not the case in Endgame. That did not happen.
It's pretty clear that they are headed there at some point. They're headed that level of cosmic, and I like that we speculated on that. I know we also speculated on who Noob Master 69 was.
Yeah, dead wrong on that one. We did a whole video about who Noob Master 69 could be, and in the video I speculated that it could be Flash Thompson, given the fact that he's a troll. Not at all. I just completely blanked on the fact that Flash Thompson blipped. He was one of the people who got dusted away in a snap. He would not be around during that 5-year period to become Noob Master to troll Korg and Thor.
And by the way, there are still so many theories about who Noob Master really is.
Yeah, it could be Deadpool. Could be Tony Stark. Could be Morgan Stark.
It's probably no one unless the creators like and answer a lot. And they'll be like, that's who it was. Yeah.
Another one that is probably wrong was one of our first episodes of Total Conspiracy, that Howard Stark was using Zola in the 1970s to try to genetic engineer a super son in his wife Maria's womb. That ended up being Arno Stark, Tony Stark's brother. Right. Maybe Howard was one of those hands-on dads who keeps bringing home all kinds of crazy prenatal supplements. Or in this case, a particular comfort food that just so happens to be a popular German side dish that is probably laced with vitamin Zola.
So
probably not the case.
Not the craziest leap aside from all of it, but in the comics, Tony does have a brother.
He does. It was based on a 2013 arc of the Iron Man comics that reveals Arno Stark as someone in an iron lung.
There was a sequel kind of to your Cap 8, the Soul Stone theory.
Yes.
That you went in on this year.
One of the things we speculated on is the post-credits scene after Ant-Man and the Wasp, where you see Ant-Man in the quantum realm, and there are all these like orange quantum healing particles that are floating around him. We speculated that those particles are fragments of people's souls that now flood the quantum realm the moment of the snap, because we tried to time when the snap would have occurred while Scott was in the quantum realm in that moment. We said, oh, there's more of those particles now. So we speculated those are pieces of people's souls.
Or their souls, kind of like in the Galaxy Quest way of travel, where it's like, whoa!
Yeah, the particles that form when people teleport. No, probably not the case.
I'll say, though, this one, when we went with that theory, I was pretty into it. Especially at that time, we were still trying to figure out what was going to happen with how they were going to bring people back. And so we got obsessed with this idea of where do you store half the universe's life?
Where do they go? Yeah.
Like, where are they in the meantime?
You want a cigarette?
Turns out that wasn't really addressed at all. They just didn't exist. But I actually still kind of like that theory. I don't know that theory is actually disproven.
Hey, that's the thing here in New Rockstars. We don't necessarily believe every theory we put forward. Sometimes we just find them interesting, and we like to think in headcanon and fan fiction and like entertain imagination. We're not trying to be we're not meteorologists. We're not trying to perfectly predict every movie.
Like meteorologists perfectly predict everything.
Right, and most of the time they're wrong, and then you call them out on it. Like, we are right a lot of the times, but we're just throwing, most of the stuff that we theorize directly contradicts other stuff we've theorized. So when you watch a theory video, don't go in the comments and be like, this is wrong, that's not gonna be the case. Like, just use your imagination to think about what if it could be right, which is kind of fun.
Now, a lot of these theories were based on, comic book origins or crazy things that have happened and these cosmic characters and all that. But I like the really grounded theories that went along with the Joker film coming out. And the one that we almost cut out of an episode of Rogue Theory because it was so incredibly dark and you were just like in a way.
Yeah, this is when Rogue Theory, we started awarding points based off of how rogue your theories get. So I just went real dark when it came to predict how the Joker will end. And my prediction was that it will end in a mass suicide of clowns, dead clowns throughout the streets of Gotham. Like, they'll be inspired by the Joker suicide on the talk show. And one by one, like The Invitation, they'll murder themselves and it'll just be streets filled with dead clowns.
Streets of Gotham are filled with dead clowns.
Pause. Real quick pause. Eric, are you okay?
No.
What's also unclear is whether or not Eric means that a bunch of people will be motivated to put on clown makeup and kill themselves, or anyone who's a professional clown and is defined as a clown is just like, well, we can't come back from this.
Yeah, he's ruined clowned as a career force. Yeah, so. Clowndom. We also speculated in that episode and lots of other episodes that it will end with Arthur Fleck killing young Bruce Wayne instead of the parents.
We thought we could potentially head to almost a Flashpoint situation where Thomas Wayne actually is the character we come to know as Batman. I was super into that. I've said it a million times. I'm really into Batman alternate universe tales, and that I think they might as well make and Joker is one, basically. They might as well just lean into that.
Both were wrong, but hey, we had fun being wrong. Let's move on to Spider-Man Far From Home, another huge movie. We speculated a lot of stuff about what might be the case. My favorite theory that we got wrong was that Quentin Beck is actually Peter from the future and or another reality, talking to his younger self, warning him about the future to avoid. Nope.
Sounds ridiculous, but very cool if it was that Spider-Man is also Mysterio.
Yes. You become because it's kind of based on this idea of Kang the Conqueror being a young Iron Lad, or being an old version of Iron Lad. The person you're battling is yourself from the future.
Or
very
Looper, right?
Or Looper, yeah.
A great movie just based on that. I actually have a theory that I like less, in that I'm more happy it was wrong, and that there was the idea that Tony Stark would appear in this movie as a Jarvis type.
Oh, the AI and the glasses?
Yeah, as if Robert Downey Jr. was like, look, I don't want to come back unless it's like in this really lame way where I'm like obedient software now.
Yeah.
But that didn't happen.
It's still plausible that Tony
I don't
Stark could
want
have
it to.
recorded versions of himself that will show up in the future.
That's different. The video he recorded at the end of Endgame.
Yeah, but not like a Zola style, like I'm still
serve
alive
you.
in my computer. We also speculated that the Far From Home post-credit scene would reveal the Sinister Six or Oscorp, whoever the next villain is. I was totally caught off guard by J. Jonah Jameson showing up in that post-credit scene.
And most of us were, but what you weren't wrong about actually was that we were going to get a tease toward the greater kind of other side of the Marvel universe in that movie, where we did get hints for Fantastic Four.
Yes, we did. Let's move on to Game of Thrones. We got a lot of stuff wrong. I think we all were surprised by where Game of Thrones
ended up.
It's as if the showrunners wanted to subvert our expectations and do nothing else with the plot. And maybe we were most surprised about the fact that we thought it would be satisfying and it kind of wasn't. But my dream scenario for how it would end, and I put this in a lot of videos, is that it would end with Tyrion cradling Jon and Dany's orphan baby. We both thought that they would both die, and that it would end with him telling them a bedtime story, a story that would be called A Song of Ice and Fire.
And outside of the door is Sam, and he's listening and he's plagiarizing the whole thing.
Right,
It's his own story.
Yeah. It ended in ways that we've covered in many other videos on this channel. Another thing we speculated is that we would see a legion of dragons. I remember, like, after episode 2, we're like, is Drogon going to reappear with, like, How to Train Your Dragon style fleet of dragons that attack Euron's fleet? No, it was just that Euron's fleet somehow surprised Dany because she forgot about it.
Yeah. Now, those are, take them or leave them a little bit. The one that, it's just kind of a small one, but it really bummed me out, was that our theory that Jaime would kill Cersei did not come true. It both addressed the possibility a lot of people thought Jaime could be Azor Ahai, and so he would have to kill his Nissa Nissa. But what actually it was why it was such a bummer is because when he rode away from Winterfell and from Brienne, everyone kind of had the like, no, they can't, right? After all of this, he's just going right back to her. And it was like, well, if he's going back to kill her, that seals the whole thing. It'll all have been worth, and it's like, nope, that's not at all what he was going back to do.
They died in each other's arms.
In a construction accident.
Yes. We also speculated that the Iron Throne would be destroyed, which did happen. We were right about that, but rather than being destroyed by the Night King and that no one would win the Game of Thrones, it was destroyed by the dragon and Bran won Game of Thrones.
Yeah, which, and it goes unsaid, the number of theories we had about who would end up on the Iron Throne. I think we mentioned Bran once years ago, but no, there's no guessing that.
Yeah, I was kind of hoping that it would end in this fatalist perspective and no one really wins. The Night King kind of wins, but no, he was pretty easily killed in episode 3.
Pour one out for Game of Thrones.
Yeah, it was fun while it lasted. Yeah. Okay, let's move on to Captain Marvel. Actually, a lot of our theories about Captain Marvel were right.
I know. I ended up moving into a house that is on the street where Captain Marvel was shot.
In space?
Yep.
Yeah.
A street in space.
The theory that I speculated, and this was like a real light week of videos where I was kind of stretching for ideas. One theory.
Don't tell them that you do that.
I only did it once, and it was with this video.
Weekly.
The theory is that Nick Fury built an underwater shield base beside a place where a space portal had opened up from the sunken Tesseract at the end of Captain America: The First Avenger, and he left Captain Marvel underwater to guard it for decades.
100% fanfic that you went on there.
Yeah, it really didn't make sense. Wasn't at all close with what happened in Captain Marvel. I don't know why I thought that might be true.
Just like a Gungan city.
Yeah.
But otherwise, everything else from Captain Marvel, we were actually pretty good about.
We're pretty good about that.
Yeah. Mandalorian, we had a lot of theories about.
And we are still kind of speculating. You may have seen the final episode by the time this has aired, but here's just some things that early on we speculated about The Mandalorian, is that it would center around an actually alive Jabba the Hutt or Boba Fett. Probably not the case in the show. We also thought that the kid in the flashbacks based off the trailer was a young Poe Dameron. No, it was just Mando. And we'll see if time will tell how true my Baby Yoda theory was, that it's actually Yoda as a young age and time is a flat circle and he looped back around, and it doesn't totally make sense, but it was one of my favorite theories that I went into.
Time did tell it that is not what happened.
Yes. Let's move on to Stranger Things. Season 3 came out this past summer, and the big theory that we went into that season, we didn't do a ton of theorizing on it, but I remember being convinced that a monster, whatever the Mind Flayer monster is, would attack the carnival and hundreds of people would die.
We built up the importance of this carnival because everything was leading toward carnivals.
Everything, this whole year, 2019, was all about carnivals. There's a shot where Holly in the trailer looks down and sees the trees moving side to side. I'm like, we're going to see hundreds of people die. This is going to be like Watchmen, and you're just going to see like dead clowns everywhere.
Yeah.
Not the case. She saw it, and it was attacking the people in the car. It was a limited body count, a relatively small body count.
By the way, spoilers on these properties as we go through them.
You've had time. Yeah, but you're right. Yeah, we have spoiled all these things. We are not sure. We've speculated some theories about season 4 that maybe Hopper could be connected to the Demogorgon, that there might be some time travel going on in the Upside Down.
Connected is a little friendly way to say what
I think
actually
Hopper could be the Demogorgon
go.
and time travel's involved. We've also speculated that maybe the next season could tie into the accident at Chernobyl, which would be pretty dark to go into.
But pretty cool, too. I mean, it's right there.
Yeah.
It's right there. And then the biggie is obviously Rise of Skywalker.
Now, by the time we've taped this, we have not seen Rise of Skywalker yet, but just to kind of remind you some of the things that we speculated on, and you can judge us in the comments on whether or not we were right. We speculated that Maul will return.
I hate it. I did not think that was ever going to happen.
Yeah, and by return we mean like resurrect in some way. We know he's dead in Rebels, but like, will he be reincarnated in some way, cloned?
The freaking double-bladed lightsaber, though, it still threw it off so much.
Yeah.
Also, a lot of theories about time travel.
There's a theory that Rey is the same person as Shmi, Anakin's mother, and that Palpatine wanted Rey so he could send her back in time, impregnate her with Anakin, and now have a mom for Anakin who's Force sensitive.
I almost love it, even though it's so bad.
Yeah, it's one of the crazier theories we put up there.
C-3PO is going to have a conversation with the Death Star.
Yeah, his mind is being uploaded into a ship, the Falcon or the Death Star.
Yeah.
There's a theory that Rey is a clone.
A bunch of clones specifically of Rey, and she's just hanging on, this is gross, meat hooks.
Oh God, meat hook.
That one, the jury's out.
Yeah, for now.
But in the comments, we're being treated like we're idiots one way or another about it.
I put out a theory that Kylo is Maul resurrected or reincarnated. And then we also speculated the film will end back on the Lars farm on Tatooine. Yay! As of this taping, we don't know whether or not that's right, but presumably some of the things we just said were dead wrong.
And that there is a new non-Jedi, non-Sith order that is going to be the future of the Force.
Yes. We'll see. But as we've been saying throughout this video, we did a pretty damn good job getting stuff right this year. Just to quickly brag about the stuff we got right, we did speculate that Endgame would center around time travel and or the multiverse, and it kind of did both.
That one from Infinity War, we had that prediction.
Yeah. We definitely speculated that Endgame would end with Cap getting that final dance with Peggy that he said he'd rain check on.
Yeah.
And it did. That was the final shot of the movie.
We had that whole video. I still remember the thumbnail, second snap.
Yeah.
We knew there would be another snap.
There absolutely was. It just didn't quarter people down by another culling. It was to destroy the stones, but there was a second snap, and we'll say a third snap to bring everyone back, and a fourth snap to erase half of Thanos' people. So yeah, we were right and then some. We were right about Professor Hulk. We had a theory that the next movie would, and we weren't the only ones to say this, but we definitely doubled down on the idea that the Hulk would fuse his body with Banner's mind, and that's the version we would see in Endgame, and that's why we hadn't seen him in any of the promo material.
Yeah.
Ended up being right.
The guess that the elementals were actually illusions being controlled by Mysterio on Far From Home.
Yeah.
I mean, kind of made sense that Mysterio was probably doing that, and also, especially if you've read the early Spider-Man comics, Mysterio does something pretty similar there too.
Yep. We speculated that Fury would lose his eye, and we definitely put forward the theory that it would be a cat scratch based off of the style of the wound that we saw in Captain America: The Winter Soldier. Looked like 3 cat scratches over his eye.
And I'll say there was a quick theory at that time that we didn't get fully behind, that's how they would introduce Wolverine into the MCU.
Yeah, Wolverine, tiny claws, tiny baby Wolverine. And on that note, we did speculate that Fury could be a Skrull. Back when we were doing a Skrull search series, we put up a lot of theories about Fury's inconsistent behavior. And while he wasn't a Skrull the whole time, he was definitely a Skrull in Spider-Man Far From Home and maybe some earlier events too.
Yes. Made fun of earlier, just us trying to have theories off of such a grounded film like Joker. But actually, we were spot on, and he's going to be an unreliable narrator. These are going to be dream sequences.
Yeah, some of the things are going to be false, as are a lot of the memories of Captain Marvel. Based off of that trailer early in 2019, we believe that Captain Marvel's memories were false implanted memories and that the Kree are actually bad guys. Yeah, we saw that coming.
Jude Law.
Yeah, Jude Law.
Always.
Yeah, as I mentioned, the Game of Thrones, we got some of that stuff right, a lot of stuff wrong. But also, I think we called that Stranger Things Season 3 would involve some kind of Russian conspiracy in Hawkins, which sounded crazy that Hawkins, Indiana would be the base of operations of some Russian infiltration, but that is absolutely what happened in Season 3. But you know what? We get a lot right, we get a lot wrong, and that's part of the fun.
Yeah,
It's a mixed bag.
And the question is, do we have fun speculating? And yes.
We do.
Yeah.
Because as I said, it's a journey. It's not about accuracy. It's just about like imagining that what if could be true and thinking about the directions they could go and then being satisfied with the direction they end up going because thank God they didn't go to that batshit level in the other cases that we've
We
mentioned.
almost give them things not to do.
Yes, that's our job here. But that's it for this week's episode of Big Question. We're so excited to answer more of your questions this year in 2020. Keep sending us your questions. # Big Question at New Rockstars, and we'll try to answer all the biggest ones so that this can be interactive and you can be part of the show and part of the stuff what we do here at New Rockstars.
Yeah. Also, comment down below with what you want to see more of. If you really love us having to pay for our mistakes, send us punishment ideas.
Yes.
Also, thanks to everyone who submitted to questions just in the other episodes. And thanks to Erik for this whole past year of going out on a limb.
And thanks to you, Philip, for going out on that limb with me. See you next time. Bye, guys.